Hi everyone, and welcome back to That's Just RV Life. Today we are tackling a topic every RVer in the winter faces: how to stay warm, powered, and dry all season long. We're talking propane management, propane efficiency, and keeping condensation under control. If you've ever woken up to frosty windows or your propane running out at 2 a.m., like us, this one is for you. So grab your favorite warm drink and let's dive into the world of winter RV comfort. Number 1, propane management. Let's talk about propane, the lifeline of your RV in the winter. You'll want to know how much you're burning, how to conserve it, and how to stay safe while you do so. A typical RV furnace burns about 1 to 1.5 pounds of propane per hour. That means that your 30-pound tank could run empty in 20 to 30 hours if you are running your furnace non-stop. That's why I always recommend running dual tanks with an auto switch regulator. I'll link a couple for you to look at. That way, when one runs out, the second one kicks in automatically. No more 2 a.m. frostbite wake-up calls. When the first one empties, go get it filled. Don't wait and try to guess how much your second tank has left. This can be the difference between waking up with frosted breath, frozen pipes, or a very cold shower to really wake you up in the morning. Keep your tanks covered or insulated during freezing weather. They do make propane tank wraps if you're in really cold weather. Propane pressure drops by about 10% for every 20-degree temperature drop. So that's a big difference. You can also stretch your propane further by pairing your furnace with a small electric heater when you're onshore power. A quick fact is that most RV furnaces are only about 60 to 70% efficient anyway, so every little bit of insulation and extra smart heating helps. I've talked in previous videos about how we use a combination of heat sources so that our furnace kicks on less often and we stay warm throughout those cold winter days. If you want to check those out, but for a quick rundown, I do use a combination of our electric fireplace, a small ceramic heater, as well as our furnace, all set on stacked temperature ranges so that if one's not keeping up, the next one turns on, and then our furnace turns on if the rest of them aren't keeping up. I also cook with different things in the wintertime, so I'm not using my propane oven. I really like to hold on to that propane when I can. So. Last winter, my husband put on a brand new propane gauge in the dark, and around 3 in the morning, I woke up to this quiet click, click, click sound. I had no clue what it was, so I just went back to sleep. A couple of hours later, I felt the RV freezing. When my husband woke up for work, I told him about the clicking, and he said, "Oh no, I think that's the hot water heater trying to fire and heat up. We must be out of propane," which we thought was really strange because it was a brand new tank. Sure enough, he went outside and the new gauge he had put on in the dark was cross-threaded and it leaked the entire tank dry. So my winter lesson is don't install things in the dark. Get an auto switch regulator for your tanks, and if you ever hear that clicking noise, it means that it is about to get cold really fast. Let's talk about power management. When it's cold, your RV draws more energy than you actually think. Between heaters, fridges, and converters, you want to understand what your rig can handle. A 1500 watt space heater pulls about 12.5 amps on 120 volts. Since most 30 amp hookups max out at about 3600 watts, it's easy to overload your system without realizing it. Always use a surge protector and a power monitor. Some nicer higher end ones are made by Hughes and Progressive Industries, but just make sure that you get one that's safe. If you're off-grid, winter solar production drops about 20 to 30% because of the shortened daylight hours. Keep your panels clean and angled towards the sun at all times to maximize their performance as best you can. And keep your batteries warm. Below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, a typical RV battery can lose up to 50% of its capacity. Stay powered safely this winter. Condensation and moisture control. Let's talk about the moisture, the silent troublemaker in every RV. I see this question and the complaint over and over and over again. Why is this happening and how do I make it stop? So let's talk about it. When warm air hits those cold RV walls or windows, condensation forms. And over time, that leads to mold and mildew and a musty smell. When that water drips, it drips down into the trays and that creates mildew in the trash. It can lead to mold and mildew and water damage in your walls. Did you know an average couple can produce about a half a gallon of moisture every day just by breathing, cooking, and showering in your RV? That is a lot of humidity in one small space. The key is balance. You want to keep the air moving and the humidity below 50%. So crack a window when you are cooking or taking a shower. Wipe down all your surfaces daily and use moisture absorbers or a small dehumidifier. At freezing temps, RV windows can collect up to 2 to 3 cups of water overnight. So open the cabinet doors, keep the air circulating, and do not block your vents. Buy a dehumidifier that does the right square footage for your rig. And if you section off your RV by shutting doors, then you might need an extra one for those spaces or disposable ones that either hang or sit on a shelf. I use generic ones that I get in bulk on Amazon, and I've never had an issue with them working. And I use them in cubbies, like, in the bedroom, and you can place them under your sinks or hang them in windows if you notice a lot of moisture building up on those too. Okay, let's talk about freeze prevention. Now that we've handled the air inside, let's look at keeping the stuff underneath from freezing solid. Your tanks and your lines are at risk when temps drop below freezing. So you'll want to keep your underbelly above 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You can use safe ceramic outdoor heaters, heat tape, heating pads designed for your RV, but never use open flames or open bulbs. And make sure that when you do use these products, you're using them on a solid surface. Make sure your external water filter and city water connectors are insulated or brought inside. They do have water in them, they will freeze and break. Open your cabinet doors that are near water lines to let warm air circulate inside your cabinet. Winter RVing is all about balance, propane, power, and moisture. Once you get these 3 things right, you'll stay warm and safe and dry, no matter how long the cold sticks around for. So, if this video helped you out, give it a like and hit that subscribe button and join the That's Just RV Life community. Because every mile and every season and every adventure teaches us something new, and we can learn together.